The lobby of the Franklin Towers was always quiet at 6:45 a.m. Muted light spilled through the glass facade, glinting off polished floors and the edges of brushed steel furniture. The security desk sat front and center, a wide counter of dark granite where Officer Green reviewed the entry logs, coffee in one hand, pen in the other. He liked the silence. It made things predictable. Then the revolving door spun once, twice. She walked in, mid-30s, dark skin, slim frame, no makeup. Her black blazer was clean but unassuming. Slacks. Flats. A simple leather tote slung over one shoulder. She moved with quiet purpose, eyes set on the elevators. Green looked up. Then he stood. "Excuse me, ma'am," he said, stepping out from behind the desk. "Can I help you?" She paused, glanced at him, then pointed to the elevator. "I have a meeting on the 29th floor." Green frowned slightly. "With who?" "Human Resources," she replied. "My badge isn't activated yet. They said to check in at the desk." Green's eyes narrowed. "What kind of meeting is this?" She raised an eyebrow. "It's my first day." He didn't move. She opened her tote, pulled out a folder, and showed him a printed email with her name and the HR contact. Green read it but didn't seem to really read it. "Just wait here," he said. "I'll make a call." She stood still quietly. She didn't argue. Didn't explain herself further. But her silence wasn't submission. It was something else. Green walked back behind the desk, picked up the phone, and dialed slowly, deliberately, as if confirming a suspicion rather than a name. She stayed where she was, hands loosely folded in front of her. No phone out. No sighs. No fidgeting. Just stillness. He spoke into the receiver. "Hey, this is Green at the lobby. Got someone here, says she's starting today. Says she has a meeting with HR. Yeah, black woman, early 30s maybe, no badge. You expecting anyone?" He paused, glanced up at her again. "Uh-huh. Name's Jordan, yes. Jordan Monroe." Another pause. His expression didn't shift, but his posture did, a slight slump in the shoulders, a shift in tone. Yeah, she's right here." He hung up. "Someone's on the way to get you," he said, voice flatter than before. She nodded once. "Thank you." A man in a sharp suit waiting for the elevator glanced at her, then back at his phone. Another woman in a bright dress walked past and gave her a polite but curious smile. No one said anything. The elevator dinged. The suited man stepped in, doors closing behind him. Green remained at the desk. He didn't look up again. Jordan stood, her tote hanging quietly at her side. The silence stretched. 2 minutes passed. Then 5. At 6:58 a.m., the elevator opened and out stepped a woman in a navy skirt suit, heels clicking softly against the marble. She smiled as soon as she saw Jordan. "There you are," she said warmly, walking over with a slight urgency. "I'm sorry for the delay, I was finishing up something for your welcome packet." Jordan gave a small nod. "No problem." The woman turned to Green. "Thank you, Officer Green. We'll head up now." Green forced a polite smile but said nothing. As the two women walked toward the elevator, Jordan glanced back once, not long enough to make it a confrontation, just enough to mark the moment. Green looked down at his desk. The elevator ride was smooth and fast. The HR woman, Emily, filled the air with light chatter about the floor layout, the team, breakfast waiting in the conference room. Jordan responded politely. She smiled once. But mostly she listened. She'd already learned more than she needed to. The elevator doors opened to a bright, open space. Floor-to-ceiling windows. Glass-walled offices. Clean lines and soft lighting. Emily guided Jordan through with cheerful ease, waving at early arrivals and pointing out key departments. They reached a corner office, frosted glass with a plaque beside the door that read, "Jordan Monroe, VP Operations." Emily smiled again. "Here we are. We'll give you a bit to get settled, then we'll do intros with the team at 8. Jordan stepped inside. The office was spacious. A wide desk, a small sitting area, a screen on the wall already displaying her calendar. Her calendar. She set down her tote on the desk. Outside the glass, a few heads turned. One man in a button-down shirt paused mid-step. Another woman whispered something to her colleague. Word was spreading. Jordan sat, opened her folder, and began reviewing her onboarding documents. No emotion. No smugness. Just focus. Let them adjust. Downstairs, Green tapped his pen against the desk, glancing occasionally at the clock. He hadn't said much since the two women entered the elevator. The lobby was quiet again, but something in the air had shifted, he felt it. The phone rang. He answered quickly, "Security desk, Officer Green." A pause. Yes, she was here earlier." Another pause. His eyes narrowed slightly. "Understood." He hung up slower this time. From the side hallway, the building's general manager walked over, an older white man in a gray blazer who rarely made appearances this early. He leaned on the desk, his voice low. "Green, just a heads up. That woman this morning? Jordan Monroe? She's the new VP. Top floor. You're likely to see a lot of her." Green didn't respond right away. The manager gave a small, pointed nod. "Let's make sure everyone's treated right. No assumptions." Understood. Green's jaw tightened. Yes, sir? The manager walked away, leaving Green with the sound of his own breathing and a screen that suddenly felt far too bright. At 8 a.m. sharp, Jordan stepped into the main conference room on the 29th floor. The room quieted instantly. Around the long table sat department heads, team leads, and senior staff. Most had only seen her name in emails or a brief memo about a strategic leadership hire. Few had expected this. She wore the same blazer, same flats. Her voice was calm, measured. Good morning. I'm Jordan Monroe. I've been brought in to oversee operations and streamline performance across divisions. No one interrupted. I've reviewed the metrics, the org chart, and the last quarterly report. We'll be making changes, but not all at once. First, I need to know how this place really works. That means I'll be asking questions often. A man near the window, CFO by his badge, asked, will you be reporting directly to the board? Jordan nodded. Yes. Weekly. She didn't raise her voice. Didn't need to. I'm not here to shake things for show. I'm here because what this company does matters and how it does it matters more. Some looked down. Others stared. But no one spoke. Jordan looked around the room. We'll begin with small groups tomorrow. Rotations. You'll each brief me personally. She closed her notebook. That's all for now. She left the room the way she entered, steady, quiet, clear. Back in the lobby, Officer Green stayed in his chair, posture tighter now. Every time the elevator chimed, his eyes flicked toward it. At 8:42 a.m., the elevator opened again. Jordan stepped out, alone this time, a file folder in her hand. She moved with the same quiet confidence, heading straight for the revolving doors. But just before she exited, she paused. Turned. Walked to the security desk. Green stood automatically, caught off guard. She looked at him calm, steady. No malice in her face. Just clarity. Officer Green, she said. He nodded. Yes, ma'am. I'd like to speak with building security leadership by end of day. Please make that arrangement. Yes, ma'am. I'll notify them. She didn't move yet. Just looked at him for a moment. His shoulders squared, but he didn't meet her gaze for long. Next time, she said softly, let's start with respect. It's easier. Then she turned and walked out, the doors spinning slowly behind her. Green didn't sit down right away. Upstairs, word had already begun to circulate. By mid-morning, whispers passed from cubicle to cubicle. She's the new VP? Did you hear she came in through the front like a visitor? They say Green stopped her. Wouldn't let her through. People didn't say it out loud, not fully. But they knew what it meant. One assistant in marketing shook her head and muttered if she had walked in wearing heels and a $2,000 bag, nobody would have blinked. In the break room, two junior analysts replayed what little they knew over lukewarm coffee. One leaned in. She didn't even flinch, though. Just let it play out. The other nodded. That's the part that gets me. Meanwhile, in HR, Emily fielded quiet questions from her team, questions not asked directly, but implied in every raised brow. And through it all, Jordan sat in her office. Emails open. Calendar filling. Focused. Unbothered. The storm wasn't around her, it was behind her. At 11:17 a.m. an internal memo hit inboxes building-wide. Subject: Leadership and Workplace Culture, Immediate Initiatives from Jordan Monroe, VP of Operations. The message was short, direct. It outlined a new policy. All staff, including visitors and new hires, to be treated with equal courtesy regardless of appearance or assumed status. Security team undergoing a full review and retraining to align with inclusion protocols. Department heads to submit anonymous incident feedback mechanisms by Friday. The last line read, we are all responsible for the environment we create. Let's make it one worth being proud of. No finger pointing. No names. But everyone knew. By noon, the building had gone quieter than usual, not out of fear, but reflection. People weren't just reading the memo. They were reading themselves. At 1:30 p.m., Jordan returned to the lobby. Not alone this time. With her was Marcia Lang, the firm's chief people officer, known for her blunt style and zero tolerance for PR messes. They walked side by side, exchanging quiet words. Officer Green stood when he saw them. Jordan's expression was neutral. Professional. Officer Green, she said evenly. This is Ms. Lang. She'll be conducting today's meeting with your team. Marcia extended a hand, her gaze direct. Let's keep this straightforward. We're reviewing procedures and expectations. No need for ceremony. Green shook her hand, nodded. Understood. Jordan stepped back, letting the moment settle. Then she spoke just once more. I won't be attending the meeting, but I will be reviewing its outcomes. Green nodded again, slower this time. She turned, walked back to the elevator. This time, no one asked her why she was there. No one stopped her. The security staff gathered in a small conference room behind the lobby, a space usually reserved for badge calibrations and break rotations. But today it felt different. Tense. Green sat near the front. His uniform crisp, his face unreadable. Marcia stood at the head of the table. No slideshow. No long speech. Just her. She began with a question. What's the first thing you notice about someone walking in this building? The room was silent. Then someone mumbled how they're dressed. Another added if they have a badge out. Marcia nodded. Not what department they're from. Not their appointment status. Just their appearance. She let the silence stretch. You're not being punished, she said. You're being shown something. You treated an executive like an intruder because she didn't look like what you expected. Green stiffened. Marcia's voice softened, but not with sympathy. With weight. You can't undo what happened, but you can decide what it means from this point forward. She placed a printout of Jordan's memo on the table. This will be our new baseline. Fairness isn't a courtesy. It's policy. No one argued, because there wasn't much left to say. Later that afternoon, Green stood outside the elevator on the 29th floor. Not behind his desk. Not with his usual posture. He held his hat in his hand. When the elevator doors opened, he stepped out slowly, glancing down the hallway toward the corner office. He hesitated only once. Then he walked. Jordan looked up when he appeared at her open door. He stopped just inside the threshold. Ms. Monroe, he began, his voice lower than usual. I wanted to say, I handled this morning poorly. She didn't interrupt. I made assumptions, he continued. And I let those assumptions guide how I treated you. That was wrong. He paused, cleared his throat. I'm not here to explain it. Just to acknowledge it. Jordan nodded once. Thank you for coming up, she said. Silence followed. Not tense, just full. Then she added, let's make sure the next new hire doesn't need a title to be treated with respect. Green met her eyes for a moment. Then he nodded and quietly left. By the end of the week, things felt different. Subtle but there. The receptionist smiled longer when greeting people. A junior analyst in jeans got a nod from someone in a tailored suit. Security started asking names first, not questions. Jordan kept her routine unchanged. Early mornings. Calm walk through the lobby. Elevator to 29. But eyes followed her now, not with suspicion but attention. Respect. In meetings, people listened harder. They measured their words. Not from fear, but because something had shifted in how leadership felt. And among staff, the story spread. Quietly. Not the version about titles or authority, but the version about how she waited. How she didn't raise her voice. How she let actions unfold until truth became undeniable. That was the part people remembered most. She hadn't demanded respect. She'd revealed why she deserved it. Friday evening, long after most had left, Jordan sat alone in her office. The skyline was dimming outside, city lights flickering on one by one. The building had gone quiet, just the hum of ventilation and the distant sound of a cleaning cart in the hall. She leaned back in her chair, staring out the window, arms resting loosely at her sides. Today hadn't been new. Not really. She'd seen it before, different buildings, different uniforms, same hesitation in someone's eyes when she didn't meet their idea of who was supposed to walk through the front. But this time she hadn't had to correct it. She'd let it unfold. Then she let it echo. Not to shame. To remind. That was what she'd always believed. Power doesn't come from proving someone wrong. It comes from not needing to. She turned off her screen. Packed her bag. No fanfare. Just one more day finished with the story left behind in the building's walls. Monday came. A new intern walked through the revolving doors, young, nervous, wearing second-hand slacks and carrying a worn messenger bag. Green looked up from the desk. His eyes met the intern's just for a second. Then he stood. Morning, he said, voice steady. Name and floor. The intern gave both, a little unsure. Green nodded. Check the list. You're all set. Welcome aboard. No hesitation. No delay. No need to ask why they were there. Up on the 29th floor, Jordan sat at her desk, already working. She hadn't seen the exchange. She didn't need to. Some changes don't announce themselves. They show up in the way a door opens, in how someone is greeted, in the silence that no longer needs to be explained. Jordan glanced at the time. She smiled once, quietly. Then she turned back to her work. And downstairs, the building kept moving forward, one decision at a time.